thresholds. Talk a lot about threshold training in dog training, don't we? To the point where we've kind of done it to death. But what does it mean? In old England, there was a couple of denominations. One was called the Romans and one was called the Saxons. And we're talking about the time where they used to wear suits made out of metal and point huge, great big giant sticks at each other on a Sunday afternoon for sport. What they didn't have was the luxury of carpet and things like that within their properties to, one, keep them warm, and two, stop the dirt from spreading and the dust and all that kind of stuff that Mr. Saxon or Mr. Norman used to bring in after his hard days doing whatever they did at that time. So what they used to do was they used to sprinkle a type of straw all over the floor, and that straw was called thresh, ironically enough. So what used to happen is, as people used to walk around the house and normal just busy hustle and bustle in daily life, that thresh used to get kicked around, it used to spread between room and room, and it used to just become more of a problem than a beneficial thing to have on your house floor. So they needed a way to hold that thresh in the room that they wanted to keep it in. You know where this is going. So Mr. Saxon or Mr. Norman, one that was more intelligent than the other, came up with the idea of putting a block of wood in between the two door jambs across the door opening between room and room. Purely and simply, and its sole function was to stop the thresh from being kicked into another room. Hence, that bit of wood was doing a very, very productive and positive job in holding that thresh in the room that we wanted it to be held in. Lo and behold, it doesn't take the brains of an archbishop. That is where threshold comes from. And the reason why it's always related to, or predominantly related to, a doorway or a space in between a door or an open door cavity, etc., etc., is because of that. There you go. So, threshold training, bit different, just get a little bit bored about talking about the same things, if I'm honest. So we try and keep it interesting, we can't try and keep it viewer friendly, but that, stay there, is where the term blossom threshold comes from. Good gal, come on in. Good girl. Did. Stay there. Blossom. Good girl, come on in. Dead. Good girl.